this session is error signed exception handling. First, we will look into the types of errors. There are two kinds of errors. One is compile time error, another one is runtime error. Compile time errors are those kind of errors. These errors are detected by the compiler itself, and it will give a print statement like where the error is, in which line number you have got error in Visual Studio. Whenever the compiler displays an error, it will not create the .cs file in console applications, and also it will not create windows.exe in Windows applications. It is therefore necessary that we fix all the errors before we can successfully compile and run the program. And it's a demonstration program of compile time error. See here, I have a template code here. Here I am going to write some print statement. And here compiler is informing me that there is an error with this message. Writes the current line. See here, I have a red line here. Since there is an error, since I have missed the double quotes here, this is how we are going to get the error. I have made a correction here. You can observe, if I miss a semicolon, again I have a red mark indication. These are the kinds of errors which the compiler will detect easily. These are called as compile time errors, and in this PPT slide, we have a list of such errors like missing semicolons. This is what we saw here. If I miss this semicolon, it would give an error just like this. If I make a correction, see here, it's giving a message like semicolon is expected in Visual Studio. Missing brackets in classes and methods. This is a class. Suppose if I miss this bracket, instead of closing for this main method, I have closed only for the class. So it's indicating an error here. If I close the method with this bracket, now the program is correct. Misspelling of identifiers and keywords. If I misspell a keyword, the name of keyword, suppose see here, it's giving a red line mark here. Now I'm going to make a correction, and even the console is a keyword. If I make a spelling mistake, or if I miss this itself, this keyword, again also there is a red line mark. Now I have written console here. See here, I am getting a message like the name does not exist in the current context, because this is not the same console which the Visual Studio is expecting. It's expecting a keyword, this kind of keyword, console. Missing double quotes in strings. This also we saw earlier. In this string hello, I have missed a double quote. There is an error. Now I am going to close the quote. Use of undeclared variables. Suppose I'm going to declare here int a comma b, and if I try to add c equal to a plus b, this is the formula for adding two numbers. Then if I the result is in the variable c, console dot write line method see error is pointing towards c variable itself. Yellunu red line mark illa. You can observe red line mark is only here in this portion. Illi c anta ideyalla, illi red line mark ide. The name C does not exist in the current context. Illu hage barta ide, but A and B ge we are not getting that. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿನ ನಾನು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎರರ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ಡ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ಸ್. ನೌ ಸಿ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಅನ್ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ಡ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್. ಇಫ್ ಐ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, see the error has been removed here for C. Incompatible types in assignments or initialization. for example, for this, if I assign, if I declare the variable C with the data type float and adding integer numbers, then incompatible types in assignments or initialization. I'm going to get this value. If I write 2.0 here, byte B equal to 4.1. These are called as incompatible types. Byte is an 32-bit signed integer value. ಇಲ್ಲಿ indicate ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, but I am storing a float value inside this integer value. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ mismatch ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ in assignments or initialization of values. Bad references to objects. If you have created the object and calling a method which is different from the class to which it belongs, ಮೆಥಡ್ ನೇಮ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎರರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಬಲ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು. These are all the list of compile time errors. Next you have runtime errors. Compile time errors ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. Runtime errors ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ you have these kind of errors while running the program. ಆ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ .exe ಫೈಲು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Dividing an integer by 0, ಏನು ಎರರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಇದು. Accessing an element that is out of bounds of an array, trying to store a value into an array of an incompatible class or type. Suppose you are trying to access, you have declared an array with the maximum value of array as 5, but you are trying to access some 7 elements from the array. Maximum size 5 ಇದೆ, 7 ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪ್. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳು, ರನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಎರರ್ಸು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ನೀವು ಇಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆರೇ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್, ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಸ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ರನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆಗ, if the exception object is not caught and handled properly, compiler will display an error message and will terminate the program. If we want the program to continue with the execution of the remaining code, then we should try to catch the exception object thrown by the error condition and then display an appropriate message for taking corrective actions. This task is known as exception handling. A exception we need to, there is a standard word called keyword called catch. By using that exception object, we need to catch the error, catch the exception thrown by the error condition and display what are the corrective steps that we need to take. Find the problem. Inform that an error has occurred. Problem finding ಮಾಡೋದು. Hit the exception step. ಎರರ್ ಅಕ್ಕರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ತೋರಿಸೋ ಮೆಸೇಜು ಥ್ರೋ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅದು. ರಿಸೀವ್ ದಿ ಎರರ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್, ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. take corrective actions, handle the exception. Hit, throw, catch and handle. These are the 4 tasks of exception handling. And these are some of the built-in C# exceptions. Array type mismatch exception ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ arithmetic exception, overflow and underflow of stack elements ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ನ ಅರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Argument out of range. And adding to that, we have some more exceptions like divide by 0 exception, index out of range exception, invalid operation exception, missing member exception, not supported exception, not finite number exception, out of memory exception, stack overflow exception. So these are some of the common C# exceptions that we encounter while writing C# programs. Thank you.